Okay. So now you have to note down the values. I will zoom this one. See, this is the sending end voltage. This is the receiving end voltage. Now, sending end voltage, let's find out if we have calculator. See, first let us go to the source. See, the phase-to-phase voltage means actually the line voltage between one phase and another phase is 400 kV. Okay. So if the line voltage is 400 kV, what is the phase voltage? Phase voltage will be, tell if the line voltage is a star connector system. So line voltage is 400 kV means phase voltage will be, please tell if the line voltage is 400 kV, what is the phase voltage?
230.94 kV.
400 by root 3, isn't it? So the phase to neutral voltage is 400 by root 3. And this from this graph you can see the maximum value. What is the maximum value? Maximum value will be 400 by root 3 into root 2, isn't it? 400 by root 3 is actually phase to neutral RMS value. So what is going to be the maximum value? The maximum value you can measure from here. So
326.59.
yes, 326.5, 326.5, isn't it?
59, ma'am. Yes.
Huh?
326.598. Almost 326.6.
Okay, 326.6 you are having. 400 by root 3 into root 2. Okay, so let us check whether we are getting this one. We are enlarging this. So this is 3.256 10 to the power 5 means 325 kV. So again, if we enlarge this one, what is the value? Approximately 326.5 or just above that to 326.6 we can consider, isn't it? So can you say this value is matching?
Yes, ma'am.
So you please write down the sending end maximum. This is the maximum voltage of 326.6. Okay. So we have observed that is coming as 326.6. This is the sending end voltage, peak value. Okay. Now receiving end voltage. What is the receiving end voltage? Let us find out for 800 megawatt load. So what is the value we are getting here? The value we are getting actually 3.05. Can you see here it is 3.05, 3.05 into it is 5. So 5 kilovolt, isn't it? So receiving end voltage you are getting maximum value as 305 kV. So 305 kV by root 2. Okay, this is the RMS value. So when the sending end voltage will be constant, sending end voltage will be phase to neutral voltage will be 400 by root 3 and receiving end phase to neutral voltage will be 305 by root 2 RMS value. Okay, this is the peak value. So in your lab sheet actually you need to write the RMS values. You need not write, you should not write the peak values. Okay, but here just for observing purpose, we are. Okay, so this is the peak value. Phase to neutral peak value is 305 kilowatt, a kilovolt. So you can see the receiving when the receiving sending end voltage is 326.6, the peak value, the receiving end voltage is 305. So for long transmission line under loaded condition, the receiving end voltage is less, isn't it? For this 800 megawatt load, so the receiving in voltage is slightly less. So another load we will consider. Let us consider the second reading. You consider this is another load. Let us consider the 100 megawatt load, 1000 megawatt load. We have first considered 800 megawatt. Now let us consider 1000 megawatt load. Let's find out what is the value. So we are again running and we are finding from the scope. This is a second reading. The sending end voltage you need not note down. We have not. It will remain same for the receiving end voltage. What is the value? The receiving end voltage, as we have increased the load, the receiving end voltage is less than the previous one. What is the value? Value is 283.5 or 4 like that. Okay. Okay, so you write down 283.4 receiving end voltage. Okay, again, this is the peak value. You need to convert it into the RMS value. Okay, and then you have to convert it into the line values. I think this I should not tell you, you will be able to do it. Okay. So in a lab copy, you have to write the RMS values. No peak values will be there, only the RMS values. You should write both phase to neutral and line to line. So these two values, we have considered two loads and we have found out the values for the receiving end voltages. Okay. Now up to this, is it clear? Or you have any questions?
Ma'am, for the second case, we are having 283.4 kV receiving and voltage peak.
Yes, 23.4 kV.
Okay.
Did I tell anything else?
No, ma'am, actually I have not.
Okay, no problem. 283, actually it is less than the previous one. For 800 megawatt, what voltage you got? For 1000 megawatt, the voltage is less. Of course, if the load increases, there will be some voltage drop. Okay, so two values we have considered that. Now we'll find we'll observe the Ferranti effect. Ferranti effect, you know what is Ferranti effect? In long transmission lines, it is observed. It is not observed in short transmission lines. Okay, that we will also see. In short transmission line, this phenomena does not occur. And what is the Ferranti effect? It is actually occurs in under lightly loaded condition or unloaded condition. We'll simulate both the lightly loaded condition and the unloaded condition. So under these two conditions, what happens? The reactive power generation is more than the reactive power absorbed. Okay. So the capacitive effect is more, so that leads to the increase in the voltage at the receiving end. So receiving end voltage becomes more than the sending end voltage. Okay. So lightly loaded condition, first one we can consider say 500 megawatt. We have considered 800 megawatt. Let us see 800 megawatt and 1000 megawatt. Let us see what happens if we consider 500 megawatt, whether Ferranti effect occurs in 500 megawatt. So third reading is for 500 megawatt. Okay. So again, we run the system. What happens? See, what is the receiving end voltage? You find out. Receiving end voltage becomes 335 kilovolt. This is number 5. 3.36 volts or 335 kilovolt. Now, can you see the sending end voltage was 326.6, but here receiving end voltage is 335. So there is an increase in the receiving end voltage when the load is 500 megawatt. So this is the Ferranti effect. It occurs at 500 megawatt. So we can consider this as lightly loaded condition. When the load is 500 megawatt, it is lightly loaded condition. Okay. So Ferranti effect is observed. So you need to note down the value. When the load is 500 megawatt, the receiving end voltage is 335 kV. Remember 335 kV peak value. So divided by √2 to get the RMS value. And this is the phase to neutral value. If you want to find out the line value, multiply it by √3. Okay. So this is one lightly loaded condition, that means Ferranti effect is observed. Now we will consider another lightly loaded condition. We'll decrease the value and we'll see. Let the load we consider. Now we'll consider the load of 300 megawatt. Okay. And see what is the receiving end voltage. We have made it 300 megawatt. And we are running this system. So see, what is the value? Receiving end voltage, it is coming as 3.5, you can see here. So 3.5 into 10 to the power 5. That means volt, that means 350 kV. So the receiving end voltage, sending end voltage is 326.6. Receiving end voltage has become 350 under lightly loaded condition. That means when the load is 300 megawatt. Clear? So these two lightly loaded conditions, we have observed the Ferranti effect. Now we will consider no load condition. No load condition means they should remain open, but we cannot keep it open. It will give erroneous result. It will not run. Actually, there are some limitations in MATLAB, so we will decrease this one to a very less value. Okay. Say we are making it say very less value, say 1 watt or 1 minute. We are decreasing this value. Say 1 watt means 0. You have to give some value. We cannot give it 0. Okay. Say 0.001. That means into a kilowatt. That means 1 watt. This means this is almost equal to no load condition. Then we will again run the system. So what is the value we are getting? This you can write down as no load condition. Okay, you need not put the value 1, or you can give just the value of 1 watt. Yeah, it is as good as no load condition. Okay. So this reading, how many readings we have considered? 2 under loaded condition, 2 lightly loaded. This will be a 5th reading. No load condition. See, for no load condition, voltage is 360 kV. The receiving end voltage peak value is 360 kV. You note down. The 5th reading is 360 kV. So again, you have to convert into RMS value and then line value. Okay. So how many readings you have considered? First reading you have considered the loaded condition 800 megawatt. Then second reading you have considered under loaded condition of 100 megawatt. You have seen that in both cases the receiving end voltage becomes less than the sending end voltage, isn't it? Now next two readings, third and fourth reading, we have considered lightly loaded condition. One 500 megawatt, another 300 megawatt. You have considered that at 500 megawatt, the receiving end voltage becomes more than the sending end voltage. That means Ferranti effect is observed. And at still less load, the receiving end voltage is still higher. Okay, so Ferranti effect is observed. And the fifth one, you have considered the no load case. There, the Ferranti effect is observed and the receiving end voltage is much more than the sending end voltage. So, Ferranti effect phenomena, this phenomena you have observed. Now, up to this, is it clear? Then we will go for surge impedance loading. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let us consider now the surge impedance loading. Do you remember what is the surge impedance loading? In surge impedance loading, what happens? SIL. Okay, this is the ideal loading condition. So under SIL, the receiving end voltage becomes exactly equal to the sending end voltage. And the reactive power generated becomes equal to the reactive power absorbed. And so the power factor becomes unity. Power factor becomes unity. That means the voltage and current, they are in phase. Now we will observe the angle between voltage and current also, so that we can assure that power factor is unity under surge impedance loading condition. Now how to simulate surge impedance loading condition? Now you have to calculate. You know, surge impedance loading Z0, we have denoted the surge impedance or the characteristic impedance at Z0. That value was root over L by C. Note down. The surge impedance of a line is root over L by C. Do you remember this? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, surge impedance is root over L by C. So you
Yes,
calculate and tell me root over L by C means the L and C of the transmission line. The transmission line values you have written here. The L is 0.9337 millihenry per kilometer and capacitance is 12.74 nanofarad per kilometer. Okay, whereas both are in per kilometer, you need not consider the length of the line. Just L by C. You tell me what is the value you are getting. Value of Z0 is equal to root over L by C. What is the value you tell me? Yes, anybody?
270.72.
Yes. So you are getting 270.72 and it is ohms. As impedance, it is ohms. 270.72 ohms. So this is actually the surge impedance. 270.72 ohms. What is the surge impedance loading? If you can remember surge impedance loading, I have already given you in find it out later on. So surge impedance loading is actually line voltage square by surge impedance. You write down surge impedance loading is line voltage square by surge impedance. In your notes you will find out later on. I have already given this equation. So surge impedance loading is line voltage square by Z0. What is your line voltage? Line voltage is 400 kV. So 400 kV square by Z0. So you find out what is the value. 400 into 10 cube whole square by Z0. So 10 cube whole square, that means it becomes megawatt. So 400 by Z0, 400 square by Z0 megawatt. You tell me the value.
591.01 megawatt.
And it is 591. Okay. So 400 square by Z0 megawatt. So it becomes 591 megawatt. So surge impedance loading is becoming 591 megawatts. And surge impedance loading is purely resistive. Okay. So if we now consider the sixth reading, you write down surge impedance loading and we have calculated this one as 591 megawatts. So it will be 591000. So sixth reading we are considering 591 megawatt. Okay. Now we will see what is the receiving end voltage. Now we run the system. Okay. Now we have already run the system. We will find in scope what is the receiving end voltage. Sending end voltage peak value is 326.6. No problem. So what is the receiving end voltage? Can you see? Receiving end voltage is approximately 326.6. It is just greater than 325 or it is almost 326.6. Not almost. It is exactly 326.6, isn't it? Exactly same as that of the sending end voltage. Okay. So the one curve I have shown you in the class for while uh, drawing the curve of receiving end voltage and sending end voltage. It is called the flat line or when it is the seal condition. When the load is above this surge impedance loading, there is drop in voltage in the receiving end voltage. When the voltage is less than the surge impedance loading, there is rise in the voltage at the receiving end. Okay. Now our surge impedance loading is 591. At 590, when the load is equal to surge impedance loading, that means 591 megawatt here, the receiving end voltage is exactly same as that of the sending end voltage. So you can be assured by observing this curve. Okay. And you have seen when the load is less than 591, that is 300 megawatt, 500 megawatt, voltage at the receiving end is more. So Ferranti effect is observed. And when the load is more than the surge impedance loading, is 800 megawatt, 1000 megawatt, the receiving end voltage is less than the sending end voltage. Okay. Now, up to this, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a nice example of surge impedance loading. Now, surge impedance loading, we will. Another thing I have told you that under surge impedance loading condition, the power factor is unity. That means reactive power generated is reactive power absorbed. So, what we have done, it is difficult to observe all the three-phase signals at a time. What we have done, we have considered one voltmeter and another ammeter. And ammeter is connected. See, this is the ammeter. It is connected in series with the A phase. Okay, just we have inserted one ammeter in A phase and voltmeter. This voltmeter is measuring the voltage of the A phase, voltage of this line to neutral. Okay, this is the neutral point. So we'll observe the A phase voltage and A phase current, and we'll find the phase angle difference between the voltage and the current. So see here, under surge impedance loading. So see, this is the voltage signal of the A phase. This is the current signal of the A phase. So can you see, this is the zero line, okay? And this is the rising end of the voltage. Voltage is rising. It is the reference point, okay? It is rising from this point. Actually, this bolt line you can see at this line, and this is zero, okay? This is zero value here. So this is the reference point. It is rising like this. And the current also you can see, this is the same line. And current at this is zero. So current is also rising at from the same point. So voltage and current, they are exactly in phase with each other. Can you observe this one? Or can you understand from these two figures, voltage and current, they are in phase?
Yes, ma'am.
Because they are rising, they are becoming zero at the same time. Okay. So they
Power
are in
factor is
phase.
unity.
So the power factor is unity. So this is confirmed under surge impedance loading. The power factor is also unity. But therefore, I will show you under lightly loaded condition what is the power factor. Lightly loaded condition means actually the capacitive effect is very large. So let us again simulate the lightly loaded condition. The lightly loaded condition will simulate 0.001 we have considered. So let us consider that one also. The fifth reading 0.001. Okay, there we will find out what is the phase angle between the voltage and the current. So this is again we find it out. So you see here this is the voltage. Voltage, this is the value. It is rising here. But what is the current? Current has already reached the peak value. It has the rising end here. So can you observe that current is leading by 90 degrees with respect to the voltage? Is it clear from these two figures? This is the current, this is the voltage. Current is,
Yes, ma'am.
it is clear, isn't it? Current is leading by 90 degrees with respect to the voltage under lightly loaded or no load condition. Okay, so it is acting as purely capacitive circuit. Okay, this is just to show you. Okay, you need not write these values, but for surge impedance loading, you just write that the power factor is unity as the voltage and current, they are in same phase. Okay. Now, we have simulated this surge impedance loading condition considering the surge impedance load of 591. Again, we know that we have already studied surge impedance loading means the load is value is equal to Z0 and it is purely resistive. Now let us see the same phenomena of surge impedance loading by connecting simply a resistance of that value of surge impedance. What is the surge impedance? We have found out root over L by C. Root over L by C, it becomes 270.772, isn't it? So that 270.72, a resistance of 270.72 will operate the transmission line under surge impedance loaded conditions. So what we are doing, see, we are connecting simply a resistance. Branch type is R. Okay, resistive branch of value 270.72. Okay, in as a load in the transmission line. So this will also act as surge impedance, because under surge surge impedance loading, the load is purely resistive. So we have simulated this surge impedance loading in another way. So we run the system and observe whether it is the voltage becomes same or it is giving some other values. So here this is a sending end, this is a receiving end. So let us see what is the voltage it is giving. See, the voltage is exactly same. Okay, P26.6. Okay. So this is the seventh reading. Actually, sixth and seventh readings are same. Both are surge impedance loaded condition. But one we have considered by connecting a load of 591 megawatt, and the next one we have created the surge impedance loading condition by connecting a pure resistance of the value of surge impedance Z0. That is, we have connected a resistance of 270.72 ohms. Okay, so this is all about the performance of the long transmission line. Okay, so we have found out both the, or we have considered both the Ferranti effect and the surge impedance loading condition. Now, just to show you what happens if the before that, I will tell you, you do one homework, that is, we have considered two blocks here, 200, 200. Okay. This is actually not the distributed parameters, only two blocks, one block each of 200 kilometers. That should not be done. Actually, many blocks of small lengths you should have considered. So what you will do, you will consider a single block of I don't know whether you have MATLAB. This is not mandatory, because if you know MATLAB, then only you can do. So I should not tell you this as homework, but those who are conversant with MATLAB, they can show. That means they will perform. They will take one block of 400 kilometer, and they will take the 10 blocks or 15 blocks of small lengths. Okay. Say if you take 10 blocks of 40 kilometer each, then you will find the value is slightly different, because you have seen the equivalent parameters and the concentrated parameters. Okay, equivalent means when you consider the distributed model. Okay, and lumped parameter or the pi section, nominal pi section and equivalent pi section. You know the difference. Okay, that difference, if you know MATLAB, you can show this one. This one I thought of showing you, but okay, that is not very important, because you know that if we consider there is some error, because results, you will not get exact results for long transmission lines if we consider lumped parameter or concentrated parameter. Here we have considered the lumped parameter only, because we have considered only two lines. But our purpose is to study the effect, so that effect we could see. Okay. Now, just to show one thing, again we connect the load as the previous one. Now we will show that this, just for showing, you need not write that. Okay, you can write. You take 8th reading for short transmission line. Okay, short transmission line is nothing but just we change the length of the transmission line. We need not change the length of the parameters, because we have considered everything in per unit length. And say this one as 30. It means it becomes only 50 kilometer line. At 50 kilometer line, it is a short transmission line. And see whether it is no load condition, and we'll find out whether Ferranti effect is observed. Okay. In long transmission line, you have seen when the sending end voltage is 326.5, receiving end voltage was what? Receiving end voltage was 360 almost. So huge rise in voltage. Here you will see it is almost same. Okay. Say what is the value? See, it is almost this is 3.2, this is 3.3. So it is almost 3.26, more than 3.25. That is, it is almost 3.26. Unlike In the long transmission line, it was exactly 3.6. That means 360. Okay. See, again, I'm repeating that one. When we, for, okay, again, we observe this one. This is for 20 plus 30, 50 kilometer line for the same, for the no load condition, finding it to be almost equal to 326 kV. But the same thing when we increase the length of the line. Again, I'm repeating this one. That means from 50, we are making it as 400 kilometer. So, see the rise in voltage. See the rise in voltage. Rise in voltage is almost 360. Okay. So, Ferranti effect is not observed in short transmission line, and it is observed only in long transmission line. Because in short transmission line, you know, the capacitance, you can neglect the capacitance. How did we model the short transmission line? We model the short transmission line by simply a resistance and inductance. But in long transmission lines and medium transmission lines, the capacitive effect is considerable. So you have to consider, and in long transmission line, it is very much it is very prominent, especially under lightly loaded condition. Okay. So these things, it is not possible to this time. Actually, this is not possible to find out in the laboratory. So I think you have got a nice how the current and voltage varies in long transmission lines, especially the voltages, and how these effects are coming in long transmission lines. Now, this is all about this. So you have to write one lab report, okay, and you have to explain. Actually, you have considered 8 readings, okay, all the receiving end voltages, and for surge impedance loading, we have found out the angles also, and for no load condition also, we have found out that current is 90-degree leading. Okay. Now, for you can group these things. That means for loaded condition, two tables you can use as 1A, 1B, or you can number them separately. For no loaded condition, we have considered 2 readings. For lightly loaded conditions, we have considered 2 readings. For no load condition, we have considered 1 reading. For SIL, we have shown this SIL by 2 methods. And last one, we have considered short transmission line and showed that Ferranti effect is not, it is not coming out, it is not the phenomena occurring in short transmission lines. Okay. So you have to explain every readings. That means you have to write down why it is less, why the receiving end voltage is less, why it is more, why it is equal to the sending end voltage, why the power factor is 1. Like, then you have to explain all the readings. Okay. And all the readings actually I have already explained in the class, so I will and also I have told you now. So if you go through my class notes, you will get the answer to all your queries, I think. Okay. And of course, if you find any difficulty, you can contact with me anytime. Now, hello, do you have any questions?
Ma'am, what's the last date of submission?
Last date of submission, normally it is 1 week, so I can give you 10 days time. So today is, by next Sunday you can submit. Today is Friday, isn't it?
Today is Friday.
I think this is the first experiment you are performing.
No, ma'am. Actually, we are performing the simulation lab.
You have simulation lab in this semester?
Yes, ma'am.
Digital simulation lab?
Yes, ma'am. MATLAB.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, MATLAB. Oh, acha, in old syllabus it was in the other semester, 6th semester, but this time you are having in the 5th semester. So you are are you conversant with Simulink?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. We are actually performing
And
the
due to online class, not everybody
Excel file.
has access to MATLAB.
Okay, but you as you have this in your in this syllabus, so you must install MATLAB. Okay, and I think
No,
you're
we are in our group. We are having the simulation using Excel and PSpice since MATLAB is not
Because ma'am,
available.
MATLAB is not a free version. We have to purchase it. That's why
okay,
sir use Excel.
okay,
For
okay,
B1 group, they're using Excel. For B2, they're using MATLAB. But sir hasn't taught us, and we're just trying things out, but it's not working out.
okay.
So
So I am not making it mandatory that you find out and use 10 blocks and find out. Those who can, you can do that. But that is not, that should not be there in your lab report. Okay, whatever I have shown you, only that part you write. Okay, in your
Okay,
lab.
ma'am. Do we need to make any picture like any circuit picture in our
Yes,
lab
yes,
assignment?
you can draw single line diagram, or you can just draw what I have shown you. That is up to you. Okay. We can show the pi section, some pi sections. Okay, resistors are neglected. You know how to draw pi sections, isn't it? Only use inductance and two capacitances for one pi section.
Ma'am, do we need to make this graph, this picture like the MATLAB picture that you
No,
have shown?
it is not mandatory. It is up to you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, whatever you like, it need not be same. All of you need not show the same circuit diagram. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can draw. Okay, but uh, it should be just one. So one source will be there. Three-phase source. You can draw a single phase diagram, or you can draw three lines. That is up to you. One load should be there. Okay, and voltmeter, ammeter, those should be connected, and that's all. The diagram need not be very complicated. Okay.
Ma'am, how will submit you the assignment? Should we email you?
That is the only thing. Okay, I will talk to the CR. You keep it ready by next, maybe within 1 week. I will give you 10 days time. And in which email ID you should send that, I will tell the CR. Okay, later on.
Okay.
Okay. CR will intimate you. And okay. No, what I was telling. This is the part of the third year lab which we use which you used to perform in the laboratory. You have seen the power lab, isn't it, in the second year? You have
Yes,
done constant current source under the network theorem in the power lab. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
So actually this is a part of that laboratory. Actually we had another setup that is not possible to show you online. So we have thought of designing this laboratory. Okay, this is not a part of digital simulation lab. This is the part of the original um, third year lab. Third year lab means you have another lab that is the magnetizing current, hysteresis loop. Uh, that will be performed online, and another experiment is this one. You have two experiments in each section, isn't it? In power system, you have two experiments. So one experiment is this one. Another experiment that will you will see the characteristics of the magnetizing current of a transformer and the hysteresis loop, and how to find the phase angle difference using Lissajous pattern. All these things that will be taught maybe in the next week. Okay, and this is the another experiment. So the name of the experiment, you can write down the performance of long transmission line. Okay, an objective you can write down to study the Ferranti effect and seal in long transmission line. Okay.
Okay,
Any
ma'am.
other, any other question from you? I think it's over. So yeah, if you have any question, okay.
Excuse me,
Uh,
ma'am. Did the class, so will you be giving the link for the recording?
I have, yes, yes, definitely. Or tomorrow also I am taking class for the other section from 11 a.m. Saturday. Okay. So
Okay,
if
ma'am.
they want, they can join.
Okay, ma'am.
But why they are not joining? It's a very pathetic situation. Even remaining at home if they don't attend the class, I don't know. We
Some
just-
are having
Some
connectivity issues,
network issues.
so
network issues, I think only a few will have. Very few will have.
Because ma'am, we have a class at morning, so some of us have the data problem.
Limited internet issues. That also.
How many out of the class of 60 students? Is it 30
No, we have
students?
55 students.
You have
55 students.
55 students. Anyway, okay, network issues. If then you should resolve it, because if you miss the class, then it becomes a
Yes,
problem.
ma'am, some of them get internet only at certain times of the day, so they use that time to see the YouTube lectures.
Okay, I will send. I think it is getting recorded, isn't it? I have.
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
recording it.
Okay, I'm recording it because this is the first time I'm recording it. I will definitely send you. Okay, no problem.
Thank
Maybe
you.
after tomorrow evening, after taking tomorrow's
Yes, ma'am,
class,
yes, ma'am,
or
yes,
if you can intimate anybody from tomorrow also, I am having the class at 11 a.m. If anybody interested, they can join. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.